Today is Wednesday, the 9th day of August, 2023. I am George Wenner and I am here at Pearns Point in the parish of St. Mary. And I'm here with some conscious Antiguans and Barbudans who are here trying to get access to the beach at Pearns Point. And I understand, Mr. Winter, Lindley Winter, that you had some trouble gaining access to the beach contrary to the provisions provided under the
Physical Planning Act
of 2003, sections 50, subsections 1 and 2 specifically, denying you access, traditional access through a private development to the beach, which is the law. Mr. Winter, can you tell us what is the concern?
Certainly, and thank you for making yourself available as well. And I want to thank those persons who are here with me who came out, because this is a very serious matter. 2 days ago, myself and another person, we came to the beach at around 9:20 in the morning, and upon coming up to the checkpoint, we indicated to the security personnel present that we are going to the beach. We have done so before, not a problem. And then, immediately thereafter, we were asked to submit our names, and any one of us. And we respectfully told the security person that that is not a legal requirement. We are going to the beach, and that is all that matters. He was rather, I would think he was shocked that someone had the gumption to, even though respectfully, so tell him that they are not going to submit their names. And he was rather disrespectful on occasions, and eventually just went into the checkpoint, the security unit there, and closed the door, behind us. I waited behind him. We waited from around 9:20 until 10 o'clock. During that time, I called the Boland's police station on the matter. And the initial response by the constable was not one that was, one would say, professional or helpful. He said something, though, that was quite revealing. He said that the persons who are doing security duty here at this checkpoint are police officers.
Really?
And if we were denied entry, it must have been for good reason. Now, I took great offense to that, because it suggests, one, that not being present, that this constable would have known what transpired. And two, that somehow, unlike the rest of us, police officers, it would seem, are infallible.
And in addition to that, it is police officers, as mentioned, who are breaking the law, denying you your constitutional
Well, certainly.
right.
Interestingly, the security personnel at the time said to us that we're not being denied, you just need to give our names. Now, clearly, when a condition is in place, there is also, as a result of that, a right of refusal, or at least a refusal that could be exercised by the person who's placing the condition upon you.
But under the Physical Planning Act, there is no requirement for you to give your
Absolutely
name.
not.
This is not apartheid South Africa where
Absolutely
there are
not.
checkpoints and you have to have passports and you have to give the purpose of where you're going to move from one part of the country to another.
In addition to that, though, I subsequently went to the police post that is temporarily created in Bolands at the entrance to Jolly Harbour, and spoke with the constable concerned, and I told him clearly what I thought of his prejudicial remarks. To his credit, he apologized. However, in addition to that, though, he said he had reported the matter to the senior officer on duty, one Mr. Corporal Francis. And he had given me Corporal Francis's number, whom he said had indicated that I could call him, and I did. And that was quite an interesting conversation. Corporal Francis was astonished, basically, that like the security personnel we met on Monday morning, that we refused to give our names. He too said that we're not being denied access. All we need to do is to give our names, and we could go.
But the barrier, the barrier prevented you from proceeding.
We asked him what law and what section of what law would have made that a mandatory requirement. Naturally, he could not say. However, What he did say was this. Twice he said so. He said it seemed as if I just love to cause problem.
This is a police officer.
Yes. And that says a lot about one's professionalism, one's sensitivity, one's understanding of how to handle these situations. He went on even further to say to me, or to inquire of me rather, why do I need to go to the beach?
Why do you need
Yes.
to go to the beach?
And by the way,
This is a police officer.
this is
questioning
Corporal
you
Francis
from the Boland's police station.
from Boland's police station. And there was someone else in company with me who heard all of this transpiring. So I gave him the
So the
gratitude.
beach is not a right,
Well,
according to the police.
clearly Corporal Francis has his own view on things.
Is
I
this the
can't say-
training they received
I
from
cannot.
Commissioner
I will not make any judgment about
Rodney?
what obtains universally in the police force, because I know that they're very good officers as well, but they're also some very rotten eggs. This is just typical, unfortunately, of just about every organization where many people are part of. So I said to Corporal Francis when he asked why I wanted to go to the beach, I paid him the honor of a response, the courtesy of a response. I said to him I wanted to go to watch the stars in the daytime. And this points to the tragedy, the concerning issue that can affect our development as a people. When, for example, this security officer here this morning would also say to us, because they were aware that we're coming this morning, and so the barrier was not down when we entered. We were told to go through. On our way out, I asked him, so there's no query now as far as our names. But on the way out, I asked him, is it normal for us to submit our names? He didn't respond to that. But what he did say, and this is the interesting comment, that we like to cause problem.
Verbatim.
Verbatim.
That's what he said.
Clearly, there should not be any variability in one being able to access the beach in these circumstances as provided for by the Physical Planning Act. And people in Antigua and Barbuda must be willing to stand up against these kinds of things which slowly, bit by bit, erode our rights as a people.
Exactly.
If we do not challenge these things, then we will lose just about every right constitutionally and legally that are afforded us.
I know this area, there are about 10 to 11 beaches, small beaches in Pearns Point area. One of the beach was made famous by the former monarch of the United Kingdom, Queen Elizabeth II, when she came on her first visit in 1966. She bathed on one of the beaches on the northern side of Pearns Point, the hill. And so now locals are not afforded that opportunity according to the new owners, when in fact this is a traditional use. According to the Physical Planning Act, we ought to be accorded right of passage without let or hindrance. Mr. Prosper, I know you're a man of history and you have a good idea of this area. Can you just speak to the public as to your memories of this area and the importance of this area?
I began regular visits to this area when I was a teacher at Otters Comprehensive School.
That's many decades ago.
Yes. I first came in 1992 with students from Otters Comprehensive, and if they're around, they probably remember. And every year since, I began coming until I could not come anymore. We started at Jennings Secondary School. Walked down the road we drove down, entered the first swamp,
Mosquito Cove, yes.
No, and then came to Mosquito Cove, which is here.
Yes.
Then went right around and visited all the beaches. Beautiful shots, beautiful pictures. And then came around, there's a nude beach.
Yes,
There's a
on the
nude
far
beach
side.
right down there where you have the stack and so on. Then walked along the edges back to Yorks and pulled out for the day. Went on regular until they started the development here. I remember then I would walk with the children and I was told that I could not have access. This concrete road and so wasn't here. So that's to give us some idea how long ago. And from that I've not returned. I've actually had students do the SBA here. Because on the
school-based
side,
assessment.
school-based assessment for geography, someone, not even my students, the last one was a guy from grammar school that asked, said he wanted to do an SBA if I had anything interesting. Because in this area, you have what you call volcanic bombs. It's an igneous area.
Yes.
And you could see classic, the whole thing you teach in the books about weathering, the whole exfoliation,
Correct.
the onion peeling. The rocks were in the side of the hill all along. They're really pretty. And Antigua is still the only island that you can come to in the Caribbean where you can just walk up to it and see it. Then the Windward Islands now, we have to make up your mind to go 3,000-4,000 feet up.
Yes.
And after that, I just did not come to this area. On the other side, there's a, what they call, there's a vein of malachite, if you're into geology and so on the other side of the beach itself. I've not seen it for a long, long time. I have no idea of how it looked. But it was a beach that I came to regular with students from the Artist Comprehensive. I've not been here for some, you know. So when I heard about this, I thought it was important to come and get a chance to see the area again. Up in the hills around here too, you have a lot of pottery. I don't know if any archaeological work was done in this area.
I noticed, I don't know if you recognize as well, up in the hills, on Pearns Hill, the difference in the clay.
Yeah.
And you have the same type of clay that you find at a certain part in Seaview Farm, you know, that reddish looking clay that makes the pottery. Yes.
Right.
And so there's a vast contrast in soil types.
Yes. Also, if you're into geology again and you read about the pitons in
St. Lucia.
St. Lucia, if you're at a distance and you step on that distance and look at even the shape of Pearns Point, classic piton. It's a volcanic
Like up at
landform. And I don't think many Antiguans realize that the same piton that have made St. Lucia famous,
The
we
Helen
have
of
them
the
right
West.
here in Antigua.
Yes. On a smaller scale. Yes.
There's an important point I also want to make in relation to access through these kinds of properties and one's exit. Yes, it is a private property, and I think we must be sensitive to the concerns of people who have private holdings. And we cannot condone, if it were to happen at any point in time or has happened, anyone who would trespass on people's private property, engage in breaking into people's private property, any kind of theft and so forth. Absolutely nothing about that we should condone. However, the people who man the security booth, they have no right to search your vehicle upon exit. They are not police officers on duty. If they are police officers who are working, they are off duty there. Number two, in terms of requiring one's identification, I have counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cameras here.
Closed circuit television
Closed
cameras
circuit television cameras. So
at the checkpoint.
at the checkpoint. So this is an unnecessary and also illegal obstruction to one's access to the beach.
It's not a requirement
It is not a requirement.
to enjoy the beach.
Correct. And lastly, and very importantly as well, one time when I came here with the same person I was here Monday morning, we were told that we have got to leave the beach area, leave the premises rather, by around 7 o'clock. I said to the person on duty, you know that you and I know that is not a legal requirement,
The beach is public.
right? We can stay on the beach for as long as we desire. So anyone who have experienced anything similar, do not comply. There is no legal requirement to give your name. There is no legal requirement upon exit for your vehicle to be searched. It is your right to exit without being searched. If they have a problem, tell them call the police.
And there's no legal requirement to
And
leave the beach.
there is no legal requirement to leave any beach in the state of Antigua and Barbuda
Within a required time.
particular time frame. These things are serious. They are slowly, if we allow them to continue, impinging on our right to enjoy what is for the public.
So the bar was down when we were coming. And so this person have to wait and give their name and all that at the checkpoint. Just what Mr. Winter was speaking about.
Thank you very much, sir.
And there you have it. I am George Wenner reporting to you live here at Pearns Point.